Alright, so welcome back. After having removed the seat, you can see the interesting setup they've got for the electronics under here. Everything seems to be here, which is great, just in a really janky setup. So it looks like the battery previously was sitting right around here. I'm going to get a battery off another bike, hook it up, and try to fire this thing up. Alright, so I've got the carbs off the bike and here on the bench, but I'm going to go ahead and just pull the bowl off each one, as well as the top and the diaphragm, pull all the jets out, and soak and clean all of the parts that I can before I get it back onto the bike. So I'm just going one carburetor at a time, taking it apart. It's nice because I've got 3 other ones, so if I have any confusion about how the pieces go back together, I've got another one for reference, and that's also why I'm not doing them all at once, so that I can make sure I've got each one good. I'm going to clean it up and actually polish it up a bit, put it back, and move on to the next one. I also bought this Chem Dip carburetor parts cleaner, which is neat because it comes with a little basket that allows you to put the different pieces that you want to clean inside and let it soak there for a good long while. Alright, so now that I was able to get the bike fired up, I'm confident that everything in the engine is good. I started the teardown process. So I took out the wonky aluminum panel that was here with the electronics on top, and honestly I would have had to redo that anyway because the wiring was super screwy. So next thing I need to cut off these standoffs that were installed here and here. So I've got all the welds ground down that held up the brackets from the previous seat. I'm also grinding off the brackets that held the triangular plate on both sides, and I'll ground that down so that it's real clean as well. As I've spent more time looking at this bike, and honestly most of the time that I've spent so far on this bike is coming into the garage and just staring at it for 10 minutes at a time thinking about it, I don't think that this tank is big enough for the frame. I really don't like how the tank is so much far forward of this middle bracket here. In most other builds that I've seen, it comes up closer to here, and also as I look to build a seat for it, the seat pan with the current frame with the tank so short comes almost to a point in the front, so it'd make a really strange shaped seat. And if the tank came back to at least this bar here, the shape of the seat I think would look a lot better. So I'm going to look to see if I can't find another tank to use on this build. I do like the tank and the finish is actually really good, so I'll hang on to it because I'm sure I'll find a use for it at some point. But I'm going to continue to clean up all these grinds as I get ready to eventually powder coat the frame, and also try to figure out the tank shape that I want, and then the seat, because I think those 2 items are some of the biggest ones to define the overall look of the bike. Alright, so here's the new tank. This is off of a 1975-76 CB650K, and I think it fits this bike much better than the other tank did. It turns out the other tank was from a 400T Hawk motorcycle, but I don't think it fit the lines of this bike nearly as well as this tank does. A couple of things that stand out that I really like. One is that the angle of the tank here perfectly aligns with the angle of the frame as it comes down here, and the bottom of the tank is parallel with the ground. I also like the rear portion here and the way that it flows. You can see here the work that I've done grinding off the tabs and the mounts that held up the seat that came on the bike. I still need to do a little bit of filing and sanding to get that perfect before I powder coat, but at this point I need to formally mount the tank. I need to do some welding in the front for the brackets and also fashion how it mounts in the rear. But I can then build the seat, and then I'll probably pull the rest of the bike apart to powder coat the frame and then slowly start building it back together. I do need to figure out what I'm doing by way of color. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do the frame in a semi-gloss black, but then still undecided on the engine whether I keep it silver or if I go black with polished edges on the fins. If I keep the caps here polished or go black, there's a lot of different options, and I'll give that some thought. I also don't know what color I'm going to go with the tank and the front fender. I think at this point I'm probably going to build a bike with the current shocks that come with it because they're in good shape. I'm going to get rid of these bars though and put some clip-ons along the post here and see how that goes. I eventually will likely do the inverted R6 or GSXR conversion with the inverted gold shock because I really like the way that that looks. So next steps again is to formally mount the tank and build the seat, and then we'll start taking this all the way apart. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody following this build. Please comment below. I'm really interested in everybody's opinion. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks a lot.